Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Opposite the Monitor, and today we're getting into Forza, and man, it's being released to some negative reviews, man, on Steam, man. And currently, right now, it is mixed. It is mixed as of right now, but yeah, man, we're going to get into it. We also got some more news, some more PlayStation news, and you know, we got some news about Riccitiello having to forcibly, I would say forcibly step down from his position at Unity, but and you know, that's a win as well, so we're going to get into it. But yeah, man, Forza Motorsport launches to negative reviews on Steam, and oh man, it seems pretty unfortunate, man. I lean more towards the side of the positive, because so in the past few actually like a week, I've been like just not necessarily grinding, but more so I've been putting a lot of time into Forza, man, because you know, it was like something I was anticipating. It was something I was like excited for, you know what I'm saying? Like Forza's returning. Like, yeah, Forza Horizon is great and all, you know what I'm saying? But Forza Horizon always felt super arcadey to me. I like street racing, but it just always felt like super arcadey to me, and I wanted more attention to detail. And more customization options and stuff like that. And that's kind of like what Forza Motorsport offers for me, essentially. But I'm going to get into it, though. So they go on to say that, you know, this is a shocking reception since predecessors like Forza Horizon 5 had thousands of happy customers on the same platform. While the reviews have pointed to various aspects, the most common criticisms point to an inconsistent port and poor progression. So, yeah, to kind of address that point, I will say that I'm not a fan of the progression per se. I do like the RPG elements to it. Like, I do like the fact that driving better like levels up the car, and then that allows you to be able to unlock different parts for the vehicle, so you can be able to, you know, tune it better. Once you purchase certain parts, it unlocks the tuning ability for that aspect of the vehicle. I like that part. What I don't like is the fact that it's so tailor-made to one specific car. I wish there was like a more so like you would drive a specific class of car or a specific brand, probably more specific brand, not a class, like a specific brand of car. And then you could essentially unlock those parts by driving that brand. So if, like, for instance, if you're driving, for me personally, I like Toyota Supras. I'm a big fan of Toyota. I have a Toyota myself. You know, if I'm driving Toyota, and I'm mostly driving Toyota cars and stuff, I can be able to unlock specific tuning parts for different vehicles within that brand. And I think that's kind of one way they could possibly rectify that progression issue, to kind of go across multiple vehicles. And so that way players can have a wide variety and choice without necessarily having to drive every specific vehicle in the game to be able to unlock parts for that. Yes, I do like, you know, the fact of like, it's not like there's no like microtransactions or anything like that. But I think if they kind of tailor-made the unlock or the progression to a brand of vehicle versus just the specific car in which you're driving, so then that way it's like, okay, like, you know, say for instance this is how kind of like Call of Duty works too. Like Call of Duty kind of works that same way with their gun progression. So when you target a specific type of weapon, that weapon can have modifiers or, you know, different attachments that turn it into a different gun. Something similar to that, to where it's like, okay, I'm driving this particular vehicle, you know, like I'm driving a Toyota Supra, and this particular brand, if I spend a lot of time with driving the Supra or whatever, say I get to level 10, level 10 for my Supra also unlocks the same type of You know, the same type of engine part for a different vehicle and within that brand. And it's kind of like it's brand branching effectively. That would kind of be like a pretty dope like way to kind of rectify this, if it's possible, to be able to tailor progression to brands of vehicles versus just the individual vehicle. I understand like the whole RPG, you know, progression is, you know, if you want to make it feel more like an RPG, which I like the whole RPG element to it. But I do think they need to probably try to figure out a way to go across a wide variety of cars versus one individual car. Because I mean, even in the description of Forza, it's like over 500 cars. So that means like that's a very grindy progression system in place. But they go on to say that Steam users have reported issues like crashing, being unable to apply graphical settings like FSR, and disappointing performance in general. Others believe the progression is extremely slow, leading to a dull experience. I mean, I don't necessarily mess with FSR because I have an NVIDIA graphics, have an NVIDIA GPU, but I will say that the graphics, the optimization does leave more to be desired. I would say like there's a lot more that can be done on the performance end. Right now I'm currently running mine at like 1440p, all high settings. I tried doing ultra, but it's not, even though I'm not using a bulk of my VRAM, like I have a 2080, and if I put everything on ultra, I only use about half of my VRAM capacity. So it's not necessarily like I'm like, you know, I'm not like I'm almost hitting the capacity of my GPU, but it's more so like, you know, why is it that there's some optimization that needs to be done there? I don't know specifically what it is. I've tried different graphical settings. I've tried like custom settings with specific pieces being ultra, specific pieces being high. It doesn't like it like the cinematics still chug and stuff like that. And even then, like once I'm not in the cinematic, the driving is fluid, but it drops frame rate so bad. So it's like, and that's with me locking it at 60 FPS and 60 FPS VSync, because they have different settings and then you can do unlock too as well. But it seems like it never seems to change exactly, you know what I'm saying? It never seems to change exactly the graphical fidelity of the game. But if I do it at high, then it looks really nice. Like if I do all my graphical settings at high, it seems like it runs at a consistent like 60, 65 frames per second on high settings with 1440p resolution. And so, I mean, I even tried running ultra at 1080p with DLSS turned on, and it was terrible. Like it still looked worse than the higher resolution on high settings. So I don't know, still trying to experiment with that, still trying to figure it out, but I do share some of this. I haven't had any crashing. Thank God I haven't like experienced like crashing with Forza yet, but I will say though, like it is very much so, there's some optimization that needs to be done. You know, they need to drop a little bit more, some more patching. Don't add any content yet. Don't try to throw any content in there yet. Add patches and possibly changes to the progression system, and Forza is a great game. I mean, Forza is already a good game now. Forza Motorsport is a good game, but adding those additional things to the game could definitely help, you know, with the more of the immediate feedback that people are giving at this moment. But yeah, they kind of go on to kind of, you know, give more, you know, background as to like, you know, different people's gripes with the game and stuff like that, as well as like the main focus of the game and being able, you know, if it's a racing sim, being able to kind of have a wide variety of different cars to be able to drive and stuff like that. So yeah, like, you know, I would definitely say a lot more patching needs to be done, a lot more or probably some changes to the progression system slightly, not too much. I don't think you need to change it that much. The whole RPG system, the whole core of the game is phenomenal. Like, I like the RPG system. I like being able to, like, I'm leveling up my car. I can actively see my progression with that car as I'm driving. I think they just need to find a way to be able to expand that across multiple vehicles at once. And I think the best way to do that is to tailor progression to brands of vehicles. So if you drive a specific brand, so if you're driving if you're driving a Chevy, if you're driving a Ford, if you're driving a Ferrari, Lamborghini, things like that, depending on which brand you spend a lot of time in and stuff, you can hit multiple vehicles at once within that brand versus each individual car, which is it's 500 cars now. I think it says over 500 now. That is going to only increase over time with new content updates and stuff. And it's like, yeah, like, you know, I mean, I guess that kind of makes it to where it's like you can have more diversity with the multiplayer, because it's like, hey, like, people have their specific cars that they like, and they're going to focus on those cars a lot more. And what they're going to do is, you know, you'll see a variety of different, like, cars, you know, in multiplayer and stuff like that when you're doing like the class races, or you're doing like B class, you know, A class, S class, stuff like that. So yeah, I can see where that kind of comes in, but I think like tailoring it to the brand, if possible, would probably be a better solution to this issue. So then that way people can, you know, actively get more unlocks for multiple cars at once versus one singular car at a time when you have over 500 vehicles in the game right now as we speak. But yeah, that's it for that though. Moving on though, we got some more information. Lords of the Fallen PC port skipping Denuvo. Man, I also have this game. I've been enjoying my time with this game as well. I do not have it on PC, and I didn't buy it on PC for that specific reason of Denuvo. As well as Unreal Engine 5 has kind of been hit or miss on some games on PC. And I'm like, probably need to kind of figure out the specs for specific builds and kind of get some games. Like, for me right now, Unreal Engine 5 is like as far as the games that are releasing, is like in a trial and error type of phase. I would like, for me, so like some games are great with Unreal Engine 5, and then some games that come out are just complete dog shit. And so I'm just like, yeah, you know, I'd rather, this game was more so a game I'm like, nope, I'm getting on console. I'm gonna get it on PS5. But I've been playing on PS5, man. It looks amazing. It plays great. There's one class on there that I absolutely love, that I chose because it reminds me of the Bloodborne. And man, I'm having a great time with that class. It's more of like a versatile class. I can't remember the name of it, but it's more like a versatile class. You start off with an axe and a shield, and you also have a bow as well. Not a crossbow, but a normal bow. And so like, but that whole outfit though is spitting image of what you start off with in, not what you start off with, but like kind of like once you get towards the end of the first act in Bloodborne. But man, yo, I've been enjoying it, man. I will say though, it doesn't feel as difficult as you know, From Software games and stuff like that. I will say that. So, you know, if you're kind of hesitant about jumping into like a Souls-like, I would guess, like, just expect that it's not going to be as difficult. It's difficult. It does have a difficulty curve, but it's way more approachable and accessible than some of the other Souls-like games that I've played, like, you know, Demon Souls and stuff like that. I would probably even say, like, I played the demo for Liza P, and Liza P feels a little bit more difficult than Lords of the Fallen. So I mean, hey, you know, pretty good. I'm also loving the story too, like the lore behind it. There's a lot more. That's one thing I always wanted from the Souls-like games, or from Soft games, was like a more not necessarily fleshed out, but more upfront story. So like more of a prominent story in the game versus, like, you know, just going after boss after boss after boss, which is what that that genre is about. But I kind of want like both. Like I want like, the story to kind of be a little bit more prominent, as well as I'm hitting each boss, But so to get back on it though, Lords of the Fallen PC port skipping Denuvo DRM. CI Games has confirmed the game will not feature Denuvo DRM. That is great. It was confirmed on Twitter about that. Says, we are pleased to confirm that Lords of the Fallen does not and will never feature Denuvo. That's awesome. Denuvo has played many games in the past with terrible optimization and performance, and hindering games from performing well day one. And so, yeah, this is great, man. I know a lot of games use Denuvo and stuff like that as like an anti-cheat, anti-tamper. But I mean, like, to be completely honest with you, man, there's so many other choices out there in the world. Like there's so many other choices out there in the market that you could choose from that do not hinder the performance of your game as much as Denuvo does. But I mean, like, Denuvo has a chokehold on the market. So it's like, ain't no telling, there's no telling what kind of, backdoor type of buddy type of things with CEOs and stuff like that within this market. And it's like, there's stuff that goes on the background, you know what I'm saying? And it's more so just like, you have other choices, but you forcibly choose that you keep going with Denuvo. That's the thing. It's like, and it's, Denuvo has been proven time and time again that it hinders performance on video games, as well as fans don't like it. Fans don't like it at all. So, I mean, this is good for people who want to jump into Lords of the Fallen, man. From what I've played so far, I've loved it. I'm actually going to play a little bit more after this recording. But, yeah, man, this is great though. No, Denuvo, man, will never have Denuvo DRM, so that's amazing. It's great. But moving on though, we got some more information. Alan Wake 2 will have free and significant DLC. And they go on the code, like, all of that will be free for everyone who gets the game. That is amazing, man. I'm loving Remedy right now. Like Remedy is definitely going with the old school approach. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even just more so, just like, I mean, you got the old school approach where you got the full game up front, no microtransactions, no none of that. And then they're offering expansions. Oh man, like, I love hearing that again. I haven't heard expansions in so long that if it wasn't tied to an MMO, like, please start bringing back DLC expansions for games and get rid of this damn battle pass shit. I'm so tired of battle passes now. But yeah, so yeah, man. So they go on to kind of say that Sam Lake was quoted at EGX. We do have free DLCs drop coming, and they too are pretty significant. I'm expecting us to be going more into detail pretty soon after the game is out, but all of that will be free for everyone who gets the game. That's amazing. Great, man. I'm like, I'm pre-ordering Alan Wake. I like Remedy Entertainment, man, especially with the news that they're coming about remaking Max Payne, which I talked about in my last video. But yeah, man, Alan Wake 2 is something I'm excited for. I love Alan Wake, the original. I bought the remaster on Epic Games. Oh, I didn't actually buy it. I think they gave that away for free. So I got the free remaster on Epic Games Store. And I played through that again, just to kind of revisit that world. But yeah, definitely, man, this is starting to kind of like, as long as the game doesn't come with day one optimization issues, which I don't think it will, because it's very much so a story driven game. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that story is good and the gameplay is great, you can definitely expect me to buy the DLC. Like, that's kind of like what I did with Resident Evil 4 remake, where it's like, oh, you're doing an expansion that's focused on Ada Wong? Yes, I'll buy that. That's something I will invest into. That's more story hours, more gameplay, different character. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm definitely, yes, I will buy that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, also, man, they're very much so being consumer focused, which is what I like. As far as like going, to bat for like trying to make the game a little bit cheaper by getting rid of like, the digital disc I mean, not digital, but the hard copy, and going for more digital, which I know is very much so like controversial. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be able to actually have the game. But my thing is though, is like, I mean, I don't know if they're DRM free or not. I don't know if they are. I could be wrong. I thought they were DRM free, but I don't even think they spoke about that. But, man, like, I'm more so like on the side of like trying to make things a little bit cheaper for the consumer, especially given the fact that things are a lot more expensive now. But yeah, man, this is great news, man. Free DLC expansions coming on top of post-launch content they already announced earlier this year. I'm excited, man. It's coming out October 27th at the end of this year. Oh, I got some games I got to I got to grind through. I got to try to beat Lords of the Fallen before this. I still have Starfield that I'm playing, as well as Forza, but it's more so kind of like I jump into it from time to time, put a few more hours into Forza. I've gotten to the point now where I'm at Forza where I'm like, I'll put some hours in, on the weekends from time to time, but it's like right now I'm really focusing on Lords of the Fallen right now, because I'm kind of like in my story element. So I'm like, once I can play that and stuff, and I'm kind of, into the groove of that, man, I'm excited I want to jump into Alan Wake too, man. Especially as well as Alone in the Dark. Both of those games are my like childhood. They went head to head. They're like, in my mind, they're rivals to each other. But great news, man. Remedy Entertainment is doing a great job with the marketing for this game. But yeah, man, this is good news though. But moving on though, we got some more information. And here we go. Unity CEO Riccitiello steps down, effective immediately. Now, ex-CEO John Riccitiello has been the face of several business decisions unpopular with both developers and gamers. So they go on to say that game engine maker Unity has announced that CEO John Riccitiello will retire from his prominent position at the company. Effective immediately, Riccitiello will retire as president, chief executive officer, chairman, and a member of the company's board of directors. They got his ass out of there. They got his ass out of there, wiped him clean from every damn seat at the company. Damn. Like, that's like when you know that you have fucked up horrendously, when they legit have wiped your ass from all positions. You don't even got a board seat no more. Like, they didn't even do that to Bobby Kotick. They told Bobby Kotick you couldn't be a CEO no more, but they left him on the board at least. Same thing with Bob Iger. Like, Bob Iger stepped down and at least he was on the board. This motherfucker's not even on the board of directors anymore. That shit is crazy. Like it's so nice though, like, because this shit doesn't happen that often. Like, this doesn't happen at all, really. Where you kind of get like, CEOs who say stupid stuff out of their mouth as well as do stupid things, and then you don't see them face repercussions of this magnitude. And this shit's a win. This is a win for, gaming in general, not just consumers, but it's also a win for developers too. And Unity has announced that James M. Whitehurst will take over as interim CEO. James Whitehurst was the one who came out and kind of like wanted to clarify, or basically not even clarify, but just came back out and just said that, yeah, we're not going to go with what Riccitiello was saying. We're going to go with this model, and this model is a little bit more tame, and most developers received it well from what he explained and stuff like that. I also went over in another video of mine as well, if you guys want to go check it out. But yeah, this is great news, man. Like, this is a win. This, it was ridiculous to begin with. It was crazy. It was stupid. Didn't need to happen, all for the sake of money, all for the sake of greed. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't know. First of all, I don't even know how this man continues to get positions in the first place. Like, if he steps down from this company as CEO and then pops up again at a different studio within gaming with the same shit, it's like, this has happened 3 or 4 times prior already. Like, why do we continuously keep giving this person more money and positions and shit like that, when obviously the stuff that he's trying to do does not work for this market, as well as it's not liked. it's making your company look terrible, but you continue to just like, oh, well, we heard about what happened at EA, so we're going to make his ass CEO at Unity. What the hell? Like, come on, bro. That shit doesn't make any sense. That makes zero sense whatsoever. His past is public knowledge, but you yet and still make the decision and the choice to be like, Unity's not necessarily doing a great job right now. Maybe we should hire someone who's more like, Wall Street goon, put him as a CEO, and then make our company look even worse. Like, come on, man. Shit's dumb as hell. But yeah, this is great news, man. This is a win. Win for developers, win for gamers, win for indie developers, small business people, stuff like that. Like this is great. But moving on though. Got some more information. First Dead Island 2 story expansion coming next month. Yo, I am excited for this. There's that word expansion again. I'm loving it. I'm loving the word expansion. It's affecting me in a positive way. But yeah, so we got some more story DLC as well as some more weapons and stuff like that for Dead Island 2. Me personally, I thought Dead Island 2 was a way better game than Dying Light 2. Dead Island 2, it was very much so, I like the fact that it didn't extend its stay too long. You know what I'm saying? Like the story was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? The gameplay was great. The zombie killing is still amazing. I'm still surprised that they were even able to pull this game off after development hell for years. But yo, it's so nice to kind of like get this now. But Deep Silver has announced that the first Dead Island 2 story expansion is launching next month, releasing on November 2nd. The House expansion will see players investigate a cult in Malibu. They kind of give a little detail about what the story expansion is. So they go on to say that House gives players an entirely new storyline to smash zombies through. Amidst the zombopocalypse, I guess. The Zompocalypse, a billionaire secret techno death cult fights for survival in House, where humanity is unleashed from its moral restraints. Ooh, that seems very much so interesting. The group's leader, Constantine, prophesizes that this is the paragon of a new future. It's up to players to prove them wrong. And then they kind of go over like what's kind of releasing with it. So you get like a K-Rossbow or a crossbow crafted for precision and lethality. Unleash devastating long-range firepower and explode zombified brains with ease. They also got another, I'm assuming this is another weapon, so a hog roaster. You also get dead islands, take the weight off your shoulders while you smash undead enemies into oblivion, and then 8 new skill cards. So yeah, man, this is great news, great information, man. I love the fact that, Dead Island 2 is getting some more expansion DLCs. I hope this becomes a trend. Like, I hope this becomes a trend with more like the story focused games and just like, yeah, make the shorter games, you know what I'm saying? And then I guess like, if the game is received well and people like it, you know what I'm saying? Just make an expansion, do an expansion for it. You know what I'm saying? And then sell it for, $20, $30 or whatever like that. If the game is received well and it's great, I'm still hoping they make the DLC expansion for God of War. That would be amazing. So man, I'm liking this kind of like new trend, man. Get away from the battle pass. Get away from that kind of shit. Get away from trying to like monetize things into oblivion because it doesn't work in the long run at all. But moving on though, we got some more PlayStation news. This is going to end with PlayStation news today. PlayStation to stop selling the PS5 as we know it. So yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody knows that, PlayStation Slim, the PS5 Slim was announced. They got the 2 versions, the digital version and the normal versions, which obviously indicates that it's going to be a refresh and they're going to stop selling the original PS5s and start making more bulk of the new slimmer versions. But, at the time of this article, it doesn't kind of like inform of what happened after the fact. A lot of people were kind of mixed on the announcement of this after the fact. And I'm one of the ones that's in that pocket of like, this shit is a cash grab. But they go on to say that perhaps most interestingly, this new model will become the main PS5 or unit after current console stocks run out. I mean, given the fact of you're going to stop selling because they were selling the original PS5s at a discount. So you're going to stop selling that and then release the Slims, which will force people into buying the Slim version. So they go on to say that U.S. customers will need to pay $500 for the PS5 with the Ultra Blu-ray disc drive, which was the exact same price that the original PS5 was, and then $450 for the PS5 digital edition. My thing is, man, I think I said this before too, when they first announced the Slim, or when there was like leaks around the Slim version or whatever like that. Like, if you can get the original PS5 at a discount right now before they stop selling them, because they're still selling them now, you can still get your hands on them. And I think some of them were that they did like a discount at one point in time, like $50 off. So you can get an original PS5 for like $450. You can get it for the same price as the new Slim digital version. My thing is, man, like, this shit is a cash grab. It's not worth getting the Slim version. Me personally, I think that if, like, they should have just made, there's no reason in making the Slim with the built-in optical drive and the Slim with the digital. It's so stupid. Like, you could essentially just make the digital version and then sell the optical drive. So then that way that's one console, but you're still doing this dual console thing with, you know, like unnecessary optical Blu-ray optical drive. You know what I'm saying? Which you can actually buy, and people have tested that you can buy a Blu-ray drive for a lot cheaper than $50 that can be compatible with the PS5 as well as the PS4. So my thing is like, you know, it just doesn't make any sense to even try to condone this type of bullshit. Like, it's legit. Like, it makes no sense to even have a digital and a non-digital version and then want to sell the digital version. What's the purpose in even buying the one that isn't digital if you could turn it into if you could turn it into an original PS5 anyways for $50 cheaper? That's stupid. It's so dumb. The PS5 digital edition is $400, and then if you get the optional Blu-ray disc drive, it's an extra $50, which makes it $50 cheaper than the original console or the $500 version of the Slim that they're trying to drop. What's the purpose? No, there's no purpose. It's a cash grab. It's a gimmick. My thing is like, look, if you can wait it out until the Pro is announced, which we know the Pro is coming. If you can wait it out until the Pro is announced, I would just buy the Pro. Just buy the Pro. If you just absolutely want to buy the Slim for the sake of just buying the Slim because that's what you want, fine, perfect. Go ahead and spend your money on that. But if you can wait, if you can be patient and wait for the Pro would probably be a better sale. Most likely it's going to be more expensive, but you're probably going to get more for your dollar for the Pro versus the Slim at this moment. There's no reason in buying the Slim, especially for buying the $500 Slim. The 1 terabyte like upgrade, that's not that significant. That amount of storage is not that significant. The original PS5 came with like 865 gigs of storage. I think that was kind of like almost marketed as like 1 terabyte essentially, but you know, they got to install you got to install all of the default programs and for the OS and shit. Like, it's just, you know, it doesn't make any sense to even try to attempt to purchase the Slim, in my opinion. If you can be patient and just wait for the Pro. Wait for the Pro. You know, if you already have a PS5, there's no reason even buying this. There's no reason even looking at this shit in the direction in which it's being presented to you. Ignore it. That's all this is just a gimmick. It is a cash grab. It is nothing more than Sony trying to make up money for a poor launch because of the pandemic, as well as scalpers and everything else. They just trying to recoup their money on the back end, which is why they're trying to like be like, oh yeah, you can spend $450 on the Slim digital version if you get the Blu-ray disc. Like, come on, bro, get your ass out of here. Like, the shit is, it's so dumb. It's so dumb, and it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on it, man. You know, I know a lot of people felt mixed about this, announcement, I guess, but I've said it before and I'll say it again. The Slim this generation is the worst. And it's supposed to be the cheaper version of the console. That's what the Slim has always been. The Slim has always been $100 cheaper than the original console, and that's dating back to the PS2. That's dating back to the PlayStation 2. The slim version of the console has always been $100 cheaper. And now the Slim is the same damn price as the original. Like, what the hell, bruh? Come on, man. Like, this shit, you can't make this shit up. This shit is ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense, and you just making excuses. If you want to just buy the Slim because you don't have a PlayStation 5, perfectly makes sense. Fine. I think that if you can find the original at a discount, you should go get the original for the discount because there's virtually no difference. There's no difference because it looks different. I could take my plates off of my PS5 and put different plates on it and make it look different. It's just like it you know what I'm saying? The console came modular originally, which is what gave it the edge over like the PS4, as well as higher, better performance, stuff like that. My thing is like, man, like this shit is just a waste. And this comes on off the heels of like, Jim Ryan is like retiring, I guess, or stepping down, which is great because ever since he became CEO, he started running PlayStation into the fucking ground. At that point, everything was terrible. You started getting these dumbass releases of PlayStation, as well as that PlayStation Portal, like terrible. As well as you started getting an increase in the PlayStation Plus subscriptions and stuff like that. It's all just been terrible under his leadership. And now that he's dropped all of this bullshit into the company, now he wants to retire now and then leave somebody else to kind of figure this shit out. Like, come on, man. This is it's so terrible. It's so god awful. But moving on though, we got some more last bit of information. And this is a little bit of good news, a little bit of bad, but it's a little bit more good at least. PS5 cloud streaming arrives for PlayStation Plus premium members this month. So they're going to say that the premium tier members will be able to stream some of the most popular PS5 games available in the PlayStation Plus catalog, including Horizon Forbidden West, Ghost of Tsushima, and Spider-Man Miles Morales, to name a few. That's great. My thing is that obviously, this is a move from PlayStation to try to compete with Microsoft and their Game Pass, their Xbox Game Pass. The only way you can truly compete with that is if you put your exclusives day one on PlayStation Cloud Streaming, on PS5 Cloud Streaming. That is the only way you're going to be able to compete with them. If you do not do that, this shit is a waste of time and energy and breath to even explain to people. So they go on to say that the service will also allow premium subscribers to stream games available in the Game Trials catalog and stream digital PS5 titles premium members own in their game library, such as Resident Evil 4 and Dead Island 2. I mean, that's nice. You need to expand that though. Like if it's, you can stream games, and if you're a premium member, which if I'm not mistaken, that got increased to like $100 or whatever like that per year. You should be able to stream every damn game in your library, not some of your games in your library. That's just my opinion. If you're going to be playing a premium price, you need to have premium service. You need to be able to stream all of your games, not some of the games that they name. I'm pretty sure they'll expand it over time, but if you're gonna be charging people extra money before you even put in before you even put more effort into the service you're trying to provide, something's wrong. You ass backwards on it. You need to be able to make sure that thing is available day one, then you charge people more. They're going to say that the blog post notes that players will have 4 resolution options to choose from: 720p, 1080p. I guess that's a typo, PM. I definitely don't know that. 1080p, 1440p, and 4K resolutions with 60 frames per second, and SDR or HDR output. However, it also reveals that you need a minimum internet speed of 38 megabits per second or more if you want to stream these games at the highest resolution. I mean, most people don't have really good internet. Most people don't have fiber optic internet. Luckily, I do. 38 megabytes per second isn't terrible though. That's average. I could be wrong, but that isn't that bad. You can do a lot with. most people have at least broadband internet. At least most people have broadband high speed internet, or at least like Comcast, like gigabit at least. But yeah, that's not terrible. That's one of the, and I think I might have spoke about this before when they kind of leaked it a little bit. That being able to stream those games at that high resolution is actually really good. And if it can lock 60 frames per second with HDR output, that's really good. Actually, that's actually really good. That could have almost, like, this paired with the PlayStation Portal, if the PlayStation Portal was released with more features versus just being a damn companion app to the damn PlayStation 5. You could actually leave your house with this shit, and be able to go different places and use Wi-Fi at specific locations. This actually would have been a great sell for the PlayStation Portal. But, you got Jim Ryan in there like fucking shit up. And so it's like, oh yeah, we're going to just do this and we're not going to think about it all the way. We're just trying to get money from our dedicated PlayStation fans. So, I mean, that's kind of like, the good part about it. They go on to say that, they're doing like a regional phase approach to it. So these are different dates for different countries. You got Japan, and then on October 17th, Europe on October 23rd, and North America October 30th. They also go on to say that PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Plus Premium and Deluxe members now receive access to a curated pool of 100 movies available on the app for them to stream at no additional cost. That's the other good bit about that too, is that they say at no additional cost, but like you're increasing the price of the damn subscription in general. So they're paying for it that way. But I mean, hey, at least you got access to cloud streaming and, premium tier members have access to cloud streaming. Normal members don't, but at least you got access to movies now. You know what I'm saying? Like you can watch movies on your PS5, I guess, but yeah, I don't know, man. This, a lot of this PlayStation stuff that's been happening, man, is definitely much so like some of it has been good, but most of it has just been terrible. It's just been shit. I'm curious to see how the PS5 Pro is going to release, what specs come with that, as well as, I know it's going to be at a higher price tag. I would not be surprised if it was $550, maybe $600. I feel like at this point they would try their hand at $600. At this point, they do a $500 version without the Blu-ray disc drive, and then they do a $600 version with the Blu-ray disc drive, and it's just like, wait a minute, motherfucker, the $50, the optical drive was $50 on the Slim. Now I got to pay an extra $50. It's $100 now for the Pro. What the fuck? Like, this shit is, I'm telling you, man, like Sony is definitely getting ridiculous in just the shit that they're releasing. Even with the PlayStation VR 2, they ain't heard nothing about that. That shit got released and it was like dead on arrival. Done. No games for it. Nobody cares. And I'm telling you that the reason in which that didn't succeed is the reason in which we're getting all of this bullshit on the back end. They got to recoup that money. They got to recoup it. But yeah, man, that's it for today, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video today, there was a lot more ranting in this one because it was just a lot of stuff that's just like boggles my mind. But if you guys enjoyed the video, man, like the video. If you guys enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you never miss a video, and I'm going to catch you guys next week. Take it easy.